Yes, it is a great day indeed, and it's great to have your company wherever in the world you are joining us from. The women's doubles bronze medal match, an all-Chinese affair, is about to take place. And, of course, things begin with the customary coup de bâton, the French classical theatrical tradition. Originally a technique used to inform the actors that the play was about to begin. Julien Benneteau, great in the world of French tennis. This will be struck with all of the precision of a well-timed forehand. You know, these tennis players are always getting it absolutely spot on. It's almost like they've got a sense of
Ladies and gentlemen, representing China, please welcome GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying.
representing the People's Republic of China, the fourth highest ranked partnership in the competition, GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying. A new partnership for this year, and a very successful one, a very fine competition.
You'll see some a little bit lower, some where their legs are positioned, but you'll see a tip bar in the back. They need that obviously for safety, and then the small wheels out in front. And when you see them and you see them serve and lean back, you'll understand very quickly why you need the tip bar. And then they strap in across usually the waist and the thighs and then the knees and sometimes the feet. They really want to become one with the chair so they're able to move really fast.
The only real unique difference in the rules of wheelchair tennis, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with this having watched throughout the game so far, is the 2-bounce rule rather than the 1-bounce rule in the standing form of the sport. And important to state that only the first bounce needs to be within bounds. Doesn't matter where it lands the second time. And the reason I stress that is you will see a lot of second bounces that really take full advantage of the field of play.
They do, and you'll also notice, though, a lot of times they don't need the second bounce. The sport has gotten so much faster. Players gotten faster moving. They're hitting the ball bigger. They're hitting the ball with more spin. But as you said, the ball has to land inside the court, otherwise it's out, right? So the idea is for it to land really, well, I say not close to the lines, close-ish to the lines, and then it goes a lot over the heads. And you'll see the full court being used during this match.
We hand over now to Ali Chitkar of Australia, who is the chair umpire. Congratulations to him on his selection for a bronze medal contest at the Paralympic Games.
Please be clear by raising your racket or verbally asking me, okay? In this court, we have a shot clock there, 25 seconds going to the screen. And for the towel, you take pink, you take blue, okay? Any questions? No? All right. So, Paris 24 or racket? Which is? Racket is gone, okay? This racket. Receive? Okay. Yes.
So the formalities completed. Ali Chitkar has a master's degree in petroleum engineering, so you'd expect any contest under his stewardship to run like a well-oiled machine.
There is no electronic line calling in this event or in Roland Garros. I would have
across the world, but it's also famous for its ancient scholars and writers, such as the Song Dynasty astronomer Zhang Ziying. It's centre of early academic excellence in the ancient world.
So you talk about rankings and about GUO not being able to play any Grand Slams yet. The draws for the women have gone up to 16 most of the times, and so there's a wild card. So it's really, you've got to be top 15 in singles to actually get into those as well. And we say a lot of the Chinese players don't travel that much, and they come out during the Paralympic cycle, and they really have a good showing. And it's difficult because I'm sure that they would do great if they traveled a little bit more.
And GUO is just outside that at 19 in the singles rankings at the moment. Wang is 5th, so the highest ranked singles player. Then over the other side you have Li Xiaohui and ZHU Zhenzhen. They are 13th and 6th respectively in the ITF rankings.
2 minutes.
ZHU here.
Yes, ZHU from Shandong in the east of the country, northeast of the country. Graduate, though, of Beijing Sport University, one of the most famous of all of the top-level Chinese universities. Actually started as a swimmer, and then chose to make the move into wheelchair tennis, and has spoken of her desire to inspire more Chinese wheelchair tennis players by actually organising events at home. Wants to go into the administration. Probably make a phone call to you at some point there and find out how it's done, Joe.
I don't know. I could probably learn way more from her, honestly. But no, I mean, this is what every sport is about, right? And everything that gets on TV is to inspire this next generation. And you're going to see it. You're going to hear a lot of noise in the crowd today, and the chair umpire trying to keep the kids, because there's a lot of kids in the crowd. But it is really, any sport that you watch is inspiring the next generation, and this is what all these athletes really desire to do.
Well, I hope you are thoroughly looking forward to this impending women's doubles bronze medal match on court Suzanne Lenglen, Roland Garros. Yes, for the very first time, the wonderful experience of a Grand Slam venue being used for wheelchair tennis at a Paralympic Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match consists of 2 tiebreak sets. A 10-point match tiebreak really played at.
There's been a super atmosphere, hasn't there, throughout?
Oh, it's been like nothing we've ever seen really with tennis before. It's not like your typical Grand Slam. It's not like your typical tournament. There's been partying. The music's been great. They've been karaokeing. You've seen people dancing. You've seen players dancing. And it's a very much vibrant atmosphere. It's been almost sold out. Last weekend was sold out. Yesterday, stadium courts were almost sold out too. So it's been great to showcase the sport.
Yes, there have been occasions when the umpires' sense of, shall we say, crowd management has been quite tested. They've needed to just gently remind some of the vocal and excited young supporters just to keep quiet during the points themselves. It's a lovely problem to have, that, isn't it?
It is, and I think sometimes the crowd forgets they get 2 bounces too. And so then they're like, oh my gosh, and they got it. And you're going to see in doubles somewhat of a different strategy than you would be if you're watching them standing. You're not going to see up and back. You're going to see them push forwards, push back. So we'll talk through the strategy throughout the match, but it's definitely different. And it's really a game of pure geometry as well. You're going to see them out to the side. We've seen matches where the players are hitting the side fences and coming back in. And once you create an angle, it opens up a bigger angle too. So it's going to be beautiful to see. And I think that's what you see when you actually watch wheelchair. You're like, oh my gosh, the amount of shots they can hit, the differences are fantastic.
Welcome one and all to the women's doubles bronze medal match in wheelchair tennis at Roland Garros Stadium. It is the Suzanne Lenglen court that is hosting this all-Chinese meeting between Li Xiaohui and ZHU Zhenzhen. And they are facing GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying. It will be the partnership of GUO and WANG to serve.
GUO Luoyao to serve. Ready, play.
First player with ball in hand is 22-year-old GUO Luoyao, the youngest on the court. Joe Wallen is alongside me. Joe, some words for those who are new to wheelchair tennis on the tactics of women's doubles.
Well, tactics in general, you're not going to see your typical serve and volley or one up, one back. Usually you've got one of them that's a little bit more aggressive, so I'm interested to see who is going to be those players from each of the teams that are actually going to push up. We might see a lot of points like that.
That was returned with real ferocity. Good placement.
You've usually got one player that's more the aggressor, that's looking to come in, flatten out the shots, and then the person that stays in the back will almost be the defender that's trying to give them time, throw up some higher balls.
They have met on 2 previous occasions, and the partnership of Li and Zhu have won both of those, both on clay. 6-4, 6-4 in the final of the Open International de Royan this year, and also this year in the semi-final of the French Riviera Open. So that was 6-4, 6-1. Fascinatingly, they've only ever met on clay in France.
How ironic. The other thing that you'll see as well is that you will see, it's almost like they're figuring out who they want to play the most balls to. Picking on's probably a little bit tough to say, but they really do want that. And sometimes it's usually the person that is either they feel weaker, doesn't have as much experience, or the one that doesn't have the bigger shot. So right now you're seeing that with more with Zhu and GUO going at each other a little bit.
It's an interesting gambit, that, isn't it? Because when it works, it leads to victory. But sometimes players can really rise to the challenge of being the targeted one.
Well, they can, and then you get into a nice rhythm, and then when you hit it to what you think is a stronger player, then they miss, right? Because they're not in a rhythm. So it is a little bit of a gamble.
Great point. Handled that well, didn't they? Calmly done. Big test for the lowest ranked player of all 4 of them to get things started with ball in hand. Sometimes, as is the case in any form of doubles play, in any racket sport, going down the middle is a useful strategy.
It's very useful. You'll see them actually go really wide with the angles when they get an angle, and then they'll go up the middle as well.
You can play into a sort of natural confusion zone, can't you, if you do that? That was an extraordinary piece of retrieval from GUO Luoyao to actually engineer a point-winning shot from that position.
She was so far back and got the outside of the ball, really caught that ball late, and inside out was huge. And her opponent just has to look up and smile about that.
First game secured, but with a break point to occupy their attentions.
Xiaohui to serve.
Li Xiaohui, first to serve for the other partnership, 11 years younger than Zhu, 24. Well, based on what we have seen thus far, this could be one of those cancel your dinner plans sort of matches.
It could be. We're definitely not seeing either one of them, of the teams, really have the aggressor moving forwards, looking to take the ball early or end the rally early. They're all more on a defensive mindset.
Be interesting to see if that evolves as this contest goes on.
Love 13.
First double fault of the match.
It's interesting too, if you just watch the chairs and watch the movement, when one player's hitting, they do move with their partner, just like you would with doubles. You're moving and you're kind of following them to cover what they're leaving open somewhat.
Just to pick up on what you were saying there, Joe, about the movement, I think anyone watching this who's new to wheelchair tennis, it's worth during one of those longer rallies not following the ball and just simply spending the point looking at one side of the net and simply seeing the overall sense of kineticism of a pair.
It is actually, you kind of end up watching that. That's what a lot of times you end up watching, is where they're moving and how they're moving.
Second break point here. It's unfortunate because it was a great pickup from Li, and then the error followed. So this is an intriguing start, because Guo and Wang, who are yet to win against the partnership of Li and Zhu, have got an early break advantage. Perhaps an unexpected start there.
It is a little bit unexpected. I do think that it's interesting there. Wang and Li are the two with the most ability to hit different shots. The slice comes in, which happened in that point there. And then also Li with the aggressor coming more forward. So I think either both of these have to get Li and Wang more involved in the match.
That's the sort of shot that just shows experience, doesn't it, from the 35-year-old ZHU Zhenzhen.
Love 30.
Straight down the middle. She's playing at her 3rd Paralympic Games and was 4th in the doubles in Tokyo. Interesting point. There was a lot of pressure there on GUO and WANG early on, and they just managed to find a nice neutralising higher ball to allow for something of a reset. Was a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You've just got Lee just trying to be aggressive. This is where she's not getting that many balls, and then she gets a ball that she thinks she can be aggressive on, and just doesn't have the timing for it.
And that's one of the most common problems, isn't it, of being the isolated player, of being the one who can't get into the game. You feel you've got to do something with that chance when it comes your way. Beautiful, beautiful shot there from Li Xiaohui. Lots of strong movement in that rally.
Just looking to flatten it out again. She's able to flatten out that ball to create that winner.
So here is a breakback point. Not an effective shot from the youngster GUO.
The other thing that's different too is after the players hit and recover their recovery, they're turning their back to the court a lot, which is what you don't do when you're standing up. So if you take a look at ZHU, she does that. She's the one receiving right now. So after she hits it, she's pushing in, and then she turns her back and does that swivel. And she's very, very specific with hers almost every time. Said that, and then 3 out of the 4 times she actually didn't do it. So it was off the backhand side. Of course, have to say that and not do it there.
It's one of life's most great certainties, isn't it? The ability of a commentator to entirely alter the direction of a match by saying something.
Abuse.
See Lee just pushing forwards very quickly, taking that ball on the rise. Less height over the net, and that means less time for their opponents to react.
Just a sense of a dynamic change to how these rallies are being played out.
But Lee's getting a few more balls to hit too. She's taking those balls up the middle, and she's deciding to take them and take them early.
Let for service.
Brilliant retrieval. Oh, well, the work rate that went into that from ZHU Zhenzhen. Sometimes if you just force an error, it's good enough. And they've got the break back. 2-1.
Time.
Welcome if you're just joining the action on Suzanne Longlong Court of Roland Garros. It's day 8 of Paris 2024, the Paralympic Games. The 7th day of wheelchair tennis, and it's the women's doubles bronze medal match. Perhaps we are seeing a momentum shift here as we look at GUO Luoyao and her partner WANG Ziying, who broke in the second game of the contest. They've just been broken back, though, by Xiaohui and ZHU Zhenzhen. Spectators taking their seats. Something that's worth noting is that in Li and ZHU you have the classical right-left combination.
And it's interesting which side they're both playing, because they're both playing the righties playing on the ad side, which is interesting as well.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But they're really looking to take that middle, I think, for Li to be able to get that forehand.
Slightly get the sense that we're in the early chapters of a mystery novel here in this match, and that we're not fully seeing what we might be seeing in several games' time.
That's a good way of putting it. It's the first time that we saw a player actually come forward to the net there with Wang. She pushed forward, and then what happens a lot of times, the players will push forward to look to try and take a volley out of the air, and then if they don't get it, you'll see them retreat back almost because of the lob that would probably be coming if they didn't.
Let first service.
Something we should also bear in mind is, of course, with these athletes all being part of the same national team, they will know exactly the playing style of each other. There it is, finally finished off. For the vast majority of that rally, I was close to reintroducing this match as being the women's singles competition, because we only had two players. The two players that you were saying earlier on, Joe, very much being targeted.
Yeah, Guo and Zhu just basically refusing to come forwards either. Guo had a couple of chances there to really come forwards, and sometimes it's just putting pressure on your opponent, which wouldn't be difficult for them to do, and maybe a strategy you want to think about.
You wonder if there was a sense of having them on the ropes and not quite finishing them off.
2 games on.
So it ends up being a very assured hold of serve that for Li and Zhu, and it has taken us almost 25 minutes to get to 2 games all in the first set. Some incredibly strong retrieval skills in operation here, covering a lot of ground, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's almost, obviously it's definitely strategy, and I've seen Zhu play quite a lot, and that is definitely just her way of playing. But I also wonder whether it's because they're not so strong on the volleys, right? So you either do something because you've got a massive strength, or you're hiding a weakness as well. So each one of these players, if they're not comfortable bringing them in, trying to force them to volley, would also be very prudent.
This is a very significant service game now for Guo and Wang, having made such a strong start to the match, a sense of a momentum shift occurring. Guo did so well in her opening service game to kick off the contest. Very high first serve percentages from both of the partnerships so far. Only one first serve actually missed from both of them.
However, look at points won on first serve and only
Slightly different, isn't it?
47%.
Yeah.
So that's why they've got to figure out, okay, we've got a great first serve percentage, but you're only winning half of them, so do you need to go for a little bit more?
Yes, it's half of the recipe, isn't it, looking at the first serve percentage and only the first serve percentage, because you've got Li and Zhu who are on 5 out of 8 points won on the first serve. So it's a little bit more emphatic than their opponents. Wasn't a bad second serve at all, that from GUO.
Good one. She got a lot of kick on it, pulled the player out wide. Just looking back as well at the semi-finals where they both really struggled. You're playing against Van Koot and De Groot. Obviously, I mean, they're great players, but Van Koot with the slice backhand, and she'll just stay out there and she'll hit the forehand angle and then the slice backhand, so getting it out of their strike zone. And then the same with basically Kamiji. Kamiji's got the slice that she can use as well, and Tanaka coming forward. So that's why we're seeing this kind of play right now with them both being super comfortable, kind of staying back.
Well done to GUO. Very good hold of serve that, when it might have been
3 games to 2.
likely that a break was forthcoming, considering how Li and Zhu had just increased the quality of their play. So we are with serve in this bronze medal match.
Time.
Well, I made the analogy early on about this contest being something of a mystery novel. There's actually a youngster reading a book in the crowd there.
Thank you.
We did say there was lots of children here, so
Merci.
It's been one of the great things, hasn't it, about these games?
even if they're reading a book.
Merci.
think it's a super strategy bringing your book for those change of ends, actually. So
Yeah, it's very smart.
I'll see that youngster at cricket matches soon with a big newspaper.
I think Lee sometimes feeling that pressure. Just gets that one ball and just kind of like, I got to do a little bit more with it.
Well, Li Xiaohui has been, should we say, something of a marked player this season, a very well-watched one after that famous victory against the great Didier Deschamps. Tried to effect a dynamic change, didn't she, in there? Lee actually came in, took it on the volley.
Yep, took the swing and volley. So if you don't know what the swing and volley is, it is a ball that you take out of the air, but instead of taking a volley as in a short, no backswing, no follow through, you take a full swing at it. Usually a little bit more aggressive shot.
Out. 40-50.
Get the sense, watching someone like GUO Luoyao, of a player who's absolutely embraced a big occasion, who has loved every moment of being part of a Paralympic Games. What a great asset to the team. Every time she's made her way out onto the court, you've got this sense of a player, albeit slightly less as the competition has gone on, because maybe some of the novelty is worn off, but early on in the tournament, of a player going, I can't believe I'm here on this court in this place.
I think quite a few players probably felt that, quite honestly. Just how you handle it and how you show it and show your gratitude and appreciation for it.
The core order of business remains forcing the error, staying in the rally. And it's working here for Guo and Wang. Gap exploited and well finished. There's that dangerous shot from Li.
Thinking about first serve percentage too, one of the reasons that it's so high is that when you know someone's kind of defending, just kind of putting it back in, you don't have to worry about hitting a bigger, better serve. So I think that is, these players know each other so well. They know they're not having a big returner come in.
Yes, you do that sort of strategy against Aniek van Cote, and that ball's disappearing, isn't it?
Exactly. Either deep into the clay with the slice or a heavy topspin out wide.
3 games all. Set number 1 of the women's doubles bronze medal match.
Love 15.
WANG Ziying is a graduate of the Chengdu University of Technology, close to her home city of Daozhou in Sichuan province. Well, that was a different sort of shot from GUO.
Very nice. Love the way that she came forward on that and looked to be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe that'll give her some confidence that she actually can do it, and we might see her try that a few more times.
Yes, sometimes you just need the first one to work, don't you? And then it changes your mindset.
And especially, you know, she's the youngest one out of these 4, probably the least amount of experience. Probably feels that a little bit, and so I think, you know, just getting that winner out there will maybe give her a little bit more confidence.
One of the things that we should also reflect upon is that they're quite a new combination, both of these partnerships, and they have actually worked with different partners, including the opponents today. GUO and ZHU Zhenzhen won the silver medal at the Asian Para Games last year. So that's also fascinating, isn't it, in terms of the dynamic when you consider that they have some of them teamed together in different combinations.
Yeah, I mean, it's always when you're from the smaller countries of, like tennis playing countries, wheelchair countries, sometimes finding that right dynamic of who to play with, and you know the other players so well, it does become difficult.
Shorter ball, or rather shorter distance, was there to be exploited by Li, but played it long, and it's a good hold of serve for GUO and WANG because they've not faded away as Li and ZHU have come back, and we're at 4-3 in set number 1.
Tie.
We are approaching the 3/4 hour mark in this women's doubles bronze medal match at Roland Garros Stadium.
Thank you. Players are ready. Thank you.
After a couple of early breaks of serve, we are making a more reliable pattern of holding of serve. It is ZHU Zhenzhen with ball in hand. We must also bear in mind that the path that both of these teams have taken to get to this bronze medal match is wildly different. You have in GUO and WANG a partnership who won 2 matches and then lost 1, and then you have in Lee and Ju a partnership playing only their 2nd match and yet to actually win one. If you are unaware of how they got there, it's because they had a bye in the first round and then a withdrawal victory in the quarter-final stage, and then they lost their semi-final. So quite remarkable circumstances to enter a bronze medal match, having only played once in a big competition and having not actually won yet.
As they say, it's the luck of the draw.
Yes. But the, I suppose, flip side to that is they haven't had the chance to build a momentum, have they? It's already a very interesting feature of a Paralympic Games that is so different from the Grand Slam competitions and so different from the regular ITF events, is that you actually have this almost bonus territory of a bronze medal match to play, of getting yourself back into winning mentality after losing a semi-final. It's a hard match to get ready for.
It is. I mean, most people, you lose and you're out, right? You're like, I'm done, I've got to refocus on it. And to come back the next day after losing and try and focus on winning, it's a very unique experience for the players, for sure, and one that they only get to do every couple of years. If they're playing, you know, either the games leading up or the Pan Am, you know, they're going to do it then. So they don't do it very often.
They say it is the hardest match to get ready for. Shorter points here. Positively racing through this game compared to what we've had before.
The other thing when they're pushing, just if we look at the movement a little bit and talk about the grips, when they're pushing, they are pushing with a semi-western forehand grip, so really flat, because they want to keep their racket and hand on the wheel as they're pushing.
See what the idea was there from Wong, just couldn't get the placement, and that's a very rapid hold of serve for Lee and Ju. Now we come to that interesting stage at 4-all.
Yes, we do. And so the grip, going back to the grips, you've got the push of the forehand, so they're keeping it, and then what they do is they use the same grip and hit the opposite side of the racket for the backhand, so an inverted or reverse backhand. And I suggest you don't try that at home unless you want to go see an orthopedic doctor for surgery on your shoulder or elbow. But it's difficult for them to change the grips. They will off the serve. Most of them, they're using a continental grip on the serve and then they'll change it, but very difficult to hit.
It's one of the most fascinating features, isn't it, of wheelchair tennis?
You see it and you're like, what is that backhand?
Yes.
And then you start looking at it and go, okay, that's what it is. And that's the reason why they're doing it. They just don't have time to change it in between every single push.
And it's a more modern shot, isn't it, Joe, that has somewhat revolutionised the game?
Yeah, it has. I mean, you've got the topspin, no different than standing, the amount of topspin, and you can even see it here where Wang was able to create such an amazing angle from no angle, and that's just all because of the topspin, the swing, the pace, the racket head speed. First time we've seen you really be out of position and misjudge that forehand, but the ball came a little bit quicker to her and not able to do anything.
Those of you who watched the wheelchair tennis competitions at the Paralympic Games 3 years ago in Tokyo will remember that it was Zhu and Wang actually who partnered together to finish fourth in the doubles competition and to lose the bronze medal match. They've been impressive, haven't they, Guo and Wang?
Yeah, they've done a really good job of like hanging in there and not showing her lack of inexperience compared to the other girls on the court. And this is actually quite an easy hold as of right now. I think they just want to prove that they can win a game faster on the serve than their opponents, possibly.
You're quite right. If you had to pick, knowing nothing about the players, who was the least experienced player out there, you wouldn't immediately leap to GUO Luoyao. It's interesting you say, like, when you're looking at it, you'd be like, okay, who do you pick out to be the weaker player? And it depends what it is, right? Because it's something that sticks out when you're watching tennis is who's got the big weapons, who's got the big serve, who's got a big forehand, that kind of stuff, who moves really well. And sometimes you miss out on one of the other weapons, which is consistency. That's such a lovely point that you make there, Joe. We don't think of consistency as one of the great weapons, but of course it is, isn't it?
It is, of course it is. I mean, look at all the great players, and they're very, very consistent. I think there's a level of consistency now that all the top professional tennis players have across the world. And then you've got the ones that are just a little bit more, that don't maybe have the big serve or the big forehand or the big return that some of the others do. Look at Kamiji. She's the ultimate. She's so quick and very, very consistent. Doesn't have the big weapons that De Groot has. So that's why you would not really think of her as a big player.
As my colleague Joe Wallen said, at 40 love, it was looking like a very comfortable service game. Of course, inevitably now we are at deuce.
Sorry.
That's what happens, isn't it? Good point this, though, from the receivers.
I think it's interesting, too, and this is more a style of play. we're not seeing a huge amount of angles. You're seeing a lot of depth on the court. They're using the slice to pull forwards a little bit. And then obviously we're seeing quite a lot of the high, heavy topspin balls. But you're not seeing as many angles as I thought we would possibly see.
Too hard to get to that one. Softer touch has now generated a really unexpected great point opportunity for Li and Zhu. And if they take this, we just remind ourselves they've done it from a 40-love position. This could be one of the most significant moments in the match coming up. And now it's a high-pressure serve.
Questioning that call, just looking at least.
Again, another example of GUO delivering a decent enough second serve when the pressure was on.
Do I dare say this? No double faults so far from GUO and Wang.
Well, let's find out.
Advantage, GUO.
Well, that is terrific from GUO and Wang. 40 love, looking comfortable, under pressure, a deuce, saved a break point, held serve, and now they put the pressure onto Li and Zhu.
Tie. Have a seat quickly, please. Thank you.
If you're somebody that enjoys classical board games like chess, this is the tennis match for you, because it is tactically very contained so far. Still a sense of a lot to be worked out. We're approaching the 1 hour mark. More fans now coming in to take their seats.
Thank you. Please.
Unsurprisingly, Ali Chitgar needing to inject a little discipline into proceedings. Difference maker, and taken well too.
Beautiful swinging volley, forehand swinging volley, and she came to the net, and they won the point. Did a great job here. See that swinging volley? Went straight at the net person, which is where they should have gone, because it's the person closest to them, so less time to react. Guo has to understand that when she's in those rallies, that Zhu is doing nothing to hurt her. Nothing. She's just getting the ball. She's got good net clearance, but there's nothing to hurt her. She doesn't need to go for that much, just a little bit more aggressive. Just not too much. It's a fine line, I understand.
The 1 hour mark has been reached.
30-15.
Will we see the set concluded in this game, or are we going to be heading into a tie-break? They do get there in the end. I wondered if there was a chance earlier on to finish that point off, but it's all immaterial now.
That was great court coverage there by Guo. She really covered Wang when she went off for that slice backhand. Did a great job.
Big serve this. 30 all. Close one.
Just floated.
managed to get the hold of serve from a slightly tricky position at 30 all. So it is 5 apiece. And it does seem that destination tiebreak is where we're going. Just to remind you, or rather explain to you, that there is no traditional third set in the doubles competition. It's the 10-point match tiebreak that will be invoked if necessary. It may well need to be necessary in this one.
I think we've got a long way to go before we make that decision for sure.
An effort from WANG Ziying. Goodness.
And that's when you say, get the ball back into court one more time. You never know what your opponent's going to do. And what I mean, great hustle here from her, from Wang, just amazing hustle. But Lee had it on her racket. She played 3 great shots. She's trying to get involved in the match, and she's got the big shots too. Do so.
Crowd absolutely loved that point as well. Sometimes when, as a partnership, you win a point like that, it can give something of a boost to you, can't it? More than just the score, but it's the feeling you get from it. Well, they were in full control there. Marvellously done from Guo Wang.
When you said about the feeling, and it's almost like you know you should have lost the point, but somehow you won it, and it's like it's just that relief of, I fought that really, really hard to get that one ball back into play, and that one extra push gave me the point.
It probably feels quite nice when several thousand people cheer for you as well when you've done it. Thought for a moment one was actually going to get that back.
It's interesting when Lee does play, she's got a very different style than the other girls on the court. She's a lot longer with her swings, a lot flatter, and really effortless. You don't really think that it's going to be a huge shot, but she's putting a lot of pressure on Wang when she does hit that forehand.
Oh, that's lovely. And this is another of those situations where they've gone Guo Wang from 40 love to deuce.
That backhand, though, just dropping the right shoulder, dropping the racket head, brushing up the back of the ball for a beautiful angle winner.
intensity is there should they wish to use it. And they've got a break point again.
Advantage, Lee.
It's almost like Lee just biding her time, waiting for the right ball to be able to pounce on it.
Cleverly done by Wang. That was not easy to play.
Not below the height of the net. Great pick up there by Lee off the half volley as well. You can feel the importance of this game.
This is twice now that Guo and Wang have gone from 40 love to break point down and saved it.
Advantage, Lee.
However, the difference this time is that courtesy of that double fault, they're going to have to deal with a second break point.
First double fault from the team also.
My word, this is a high consequence second serve coming. The break of serve accomplished, and that now means that Lee and Zhu will serve for the first set.
6 games so far.
They are 6-5 ahead.
Time.
What a sight that is. Spectator after spectator taking their seats to enjoy this women's doubles bronze medal match in wheelchair tennis at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. And now the most experienced Paralympian of the four of them, ZHU Zhenzhen, will serve for the opening set. Beautiful. She has got some big shots, hasn't she,
Yeah,
Guo?
she does. She's got the ability to hit it. Just taking the right time to be a little bit aggressive is maybe challenging for her. She's come forwards a lot and just keeps retrieving back, and she's hit a couple of great swinging volleys too. I'd love to see her continue to push forwards.
Yes, her technique has remained secure when she's tried to be aggressive. Not always the case.
You know, if you thought about this, tennis is the serve is the only shot where you can be like, nah, I don't want to hit it. It's not in the right spot. That's where you see them toss it up and just not hit it. That was an interesting serve.
It was.
I wasn't sure she was going to hit that toss either. It was so far out to her left, but throw it further to a left for a lefty. She's going to get the spin on it, and it worked.
She's got a remarkable tenacity when it comes to chasing balls down, Wang Ziying. So the path remains complicated and unclear, despite Li and Zhu having managed to get the break of serve. 2 points away from a tiebreaker. Well, it seemed fairly clear-cut that Li and Zhu were going to do what they have done in the previous two meetings versus GUO and Wang, which is to win a narrow first set. But 2 break points.
I think you said we were going to go to a tiebreaker, though.
It's felt that way since the opening game. Was a nicely angled shot, wasn't it?
It was. Wang trying to give herself more time to get in, just needs to judge the depth a little bit. We'll see here if Zhu is going to go with that slice that she's gone with for this last game on this side. And she does. Worked very well on that ad side. Sometimes very hard with the spin to judge it, and then takes a little bit of pace off, puts more spin on, the ball's moving away from you.
She's such an analytical player. She's so studious. Quick apology offered by Wang Ziying. That called coming into play.
Advantage 1.
Another break point. was great placement, and what a response after playing that winner from GUO Luoyao. Break of serve accomplished, tie-break imminent. And this youngster, she really has belonged in this big occasion.
She really has. She's played very, very well. She played solid. She's come up with a couple big forehands when she's needed it. I honestly thought on that one she may have tried the angle. They haven't tried too many angles, but again, the one up the middle comes out with the winner.
Well, by the time we get to the conclusion of this opening, or rather this tie-break, the opening set will be about 90 minutes in duration. Into the tie-break. Subtle, dexterous, and more depth being shown in terms of the shot making of GUO.
Did a great job changing the direction, the depth-wise of that ball, and caught the other two off guard. Again, GUO just being super consistent, putting some pressure consistently on Zhu. Zhu turns so quickly on that forehand that sometimes she pulls off of it a little bit too quickly, which is what she did on that forehand.
This is very interesting. What a tie-break from GUO and Wang.
Played it perfectly. And once Wang can get into the point, that forehand flattens out a little bit, looking to be a little bit more aggressive.
They're strange things, aren't they, tie-breaks? They can often acquire a personality that has no resemblance to the set that's gone before it. Beautiful hit. Oh, this is high caliber shot making at just the right time from GUO and Wang.
Using that forehand again. I think you made a good point of how the tiebreak can be so different because of the, you're changing serve, the one serve and then the two and the two. It's almost like a whole new set, and you have to have a different mindset when you're playing the tiebreak. Can't give away any free points because it's just there's too many important points.
Was there an argument to be made there that the chance was lost to really keep the pressure on? Guo maybe had Li and Zhu compromised.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of swings in wheelchair tennis, and it's, you know, you see a lot of 6-love first set, 6-love the opposite way, or 6-1 the opposite way. And we've seen that in this match, right? There was a slight swing in the beginning, and now in this tiebreak, and sometimes keeping the pressure on is the hardest thing to do.
Steady and secure and doing the job, Guo and Wang.
5-1. Guo Wang.
Suddenly they're in such a tough position, aren't they?
They are. It's only 2 points away from winning this first set, but it seems like it's a long 2 points away.
Chinese delegation watching on.
Time Wang looking to come forwards, which I like, but just totally misjudging that volley.
There's two ways in which to view this. One is that winning a 90-minute first set is going to feel fantastic, and the other is to consider how it feels to lose a 90-minute first set. And that is what is facing now Li and Zhu. And if Guo and Wang win this, it will be the first time that they've actually won a set against their opponents.
Thank you.
was there and found well by Li Xiaohui. Still a long way to go to retrieve this set.
She plays so cool. Nothing seems to panic her. Her emotions, they're steady. She's not up, she's not down in any way. And when she gets that, that's why she can come up with that big forehand, just because she's just very emotionally stable.
Just can't quite get that last point.
She had the chance and she decided to go for a drop shot. She hasn't really played many of the drop shots. I'm not sure when you have a set point and you're going to go for a shot like a drop shot that you really haven't played in the match yet. She might regret that.
It's interesting, isn't it, Joe, that big points sometimes make people make strange decisions. Set point number 3. 1 hour and 30 minutes. They have won it, and that is the first time ever that GUO and WANG have actually taken a set from Li and Zhu. The lower-ranked partnership in an hour and a half manages to get the first set won in the tie-break. How well they've done.
They did super well there, held it together. Couldn't have been much closer. 49 points to 47 points.
One hour and 31 minutes. Remarkable. Now the question is it sustainable to have a second set that is of that length? Sometimes you get matches where a very grueling first set gives way to a more rapid second. It will be interesting to scrutinise the first few games of the second set. But for now, let's look back at how it was that the partnership of GUO and WANG went about winning this.
I mean, there were very, very long rallies. You saw GUO come out with some really good forehands. Probably not expecting her to come out with such big shots on some key points, but it was a grueling first set. I mean, just a lot of long rallies, heavy high top spin, kind of waiting for each other to make the unforced errors. And you're right, I think we'll see whether, what happens in the next couple games is going to be hugely important. Sometimes it can go the opposite way, and then sometimes someone can get away. But I just don't think that, Li and Zhu will be giving too many free points away. We could be in for another 7-6.
Well, this is a reminder of how the previous set played out. Eventually, a shot going wide and a third set point converted by GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying. We look out over the exquisite Jardin de Tuileries, the Eiffel Tower in the background. It's a case really of pick your favourite iconic Parisian landmark and let your gaze settle on it for just a moment before your gaze returns to Suzanne Lenglen Court and Roland Garros Stadium and this women's doubles bronze medal match. tennis and terpsichore on court Suzanne Longlance, and dancing in the crowd. No dancing in the commentary position from Ollie Hogben and Joe Wallen here.
I was dancing a few minutes ago, at least some arm movements.
This is true, you were actually. I'm doing you a disservice.
You just didn't say how bad it was, so therefore you didn't want to do it. It's fine. I do love watching the crowd get into it, and you know, their dance moves, and it just makes it a great experience for everybody. See a bathroom break there. One of the ladies went to the bathroom, so a little bit longer for them to get in and out of their chair and transfer over.
Very interesting picture there, wasn't it? Just looking at Guo and Wang, and one wonders what's next for them. What do they feel tempted to change? What do they feel tempted to do the same? How intense will they be at the start of the second set?
I don't think you're going to see any difference between set 1 and set 2. I just don't see the 4 players changing up. I mean, really, when you lose the first set, you really want to be changing it up. There was 2 points difference in the first set. That's all it was. And I just don't think the players on the court have the range necessarily to feel comfortable of coming in. Will you see Li and Wang try to get more into it? I do think Li is going to have to try and become more active in the match. She's going to have to try.
We begin set number 2. ZHU Zhenzhen will serve. Brilliant effort. Again, it's WANG Ziying proving that old adage in all forms of racket sport. Make them play.
Yeah,
make the opponents play.
I've been really impressed with her and her pushing and her ability to get that one extra ball back into play. She's probably won 3 or 4 really important points that way.
And what you can also do in a situation like that is you can make the opponents make an error even before that occasion when you have to chase it down, because they have to go like that for a very acute angle, and that did work.
Yeah, it did. That's the first time that we've actually seen ZHU actually hit that forehand angle as well. Now, I know she's been playing the deuce side, so it's harder to do that, but on that serve. Yeah, Guo just got a little, she said she got a little close to that. She actually pushed up really aggressively and took that ball very, very early. And I was like, oh, she's getting a little bit of confidence, but then got jammed on the second ball.
It'd be lovely to see Guo's ranking push up a little and for her to get into Grand Slam competitions, because, of course, once you start playing these bigger matches on a regular basis, you become more used to them, don't you?
You do, and it's definitely a major part of gaining the experience that these players need.
So ends up being a comfortable first hold of serve for Li and ZHU.
First game, second set.
Important for them to get that first one on the board. All of it has gone according to the seedings in the wheelchair tennis women's doubles competition. Top 2 seeds making it into the final. 3rd and 4th, as their pre-match billing suggests, contesting bronze. It's a difficult one. There's a little exuberance from the crowd during the rally, which potentially affected the players.
And interesting how each of the players have been actually handling the crowds. Like when you had the French players playing, Houdet was playing, he was just playing through it. He didn't care. And then you got some of them saying, hold on, and then some of them having it interrupt. So it really just depends on what you're used to, how you can block it out.
It's a risk, isn't there, that you become so focused on finding the optimal playing condition that you actually disrupt your own rhythm by waiting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, how do you do that? You just kind of have to get in your own zone, and you can't really hear anything or let anything that's going on around the court just bother you. It's you're on that zone in the court, and you've got to stay there. Again, that forehand, it's interesting. She doesn't swing that fast with it. Like when you're watching, it's not like she's got a huge amount of topspin, but she just flattens it out and really lengthens it. And I think that they're having trouble with more the flatter ball, which is interesting because a lot of the Chinese players actually usually play flatter. So they're used to that. It's interesting how she's able to hit so many winners off that forehand.
Nice little change of direction there.
40-15.
It's such an important one, isn't it, Joe? That first service game after you've won the first set, just to avoid a momentum change. Oh, that was nicely done. Different sort of shot. So low as well through the middle.
Yeah, definitely got up to that and used the slice. Used the slice a couple times there. Just reaching for it. Threaded it right up the middle.
Game, score 1.
It is a hold of serve for both of these partnerships to kick off set number 2.
Interestingly enough, Lee has actually made quite a few unforced errors on that forehand too. So it is a, you know, they're keeping it away from her. She's probably maybe playing, what, 1/5 of the balls, maybe every other 5 she gets one. But she's come out with some winners on the forehand, but she's also come out with like that one forehand that she just got hit into the bottom of the net, right? The easy one. And then on set point. So some of the times when it's been important, she's actually made mistakes. So they've got to be aware of that.
Beautiful.
Beautiful play. You can tell there as well that Zhu just not quite comfortable at the net. She played that volley and she just did not have time to recover out of it. And she was actually still backing up. She probably just needed to push forwards and see whether she could have blocked it, but out of position with that volley.
Now this is one of those matches where there's a likelihood that you won't get many half chances, let alone chances. And this is a half chance for GUO and Wang.
You can see where they would have had a lot of problems in their semi-final because of when Zhu is coming forwards and with that off someone that's playing a low slice and then they go at her deep, it's really hard for her to actually recover as well. That's one of her areas of weaknesses when she's coming forward and then the ball that comes back to her quickly.
Is this the moment where the lower ranked partnership pulls away? Certainly they've given themselves a great chance because having won the first set on a tie-break, now GUO and Wang have an early break of serve courtesy of that lovely forehand right down the middle by the youngest and most experienced and least experienced player out there. 2-1. It would certainly be foolhardy to count Lee and Zhu out, but things are becoming a little trickier for them, game by game. You get the sense, don't you, when you look at GUO Luoyao, of an emboldened, excited player who is relishing this massive match.
She's really stepped up to the plate in this match. Upheld her side probably even more than her partner with the amount of balls that she's having to consistently play.
We just remind ourselves that GUO Luoyao is still yet to actually play in a Grand Slam competition. Totally different for Wang, second time at the Paralympics.
And that flat deep ball giving Guo some issues.
15-30.
Based on the reaction of the crowd, there was somebody that nearly made a catch there and didn't quite get it.
See, there's that forehand again, right? Really good first ball, but then making that an unforced error, and they've got to kind of punish her a little bit for that. Keep giving her some balls, because when it's been tight, she's actually missed some on some important points.
And Zhu regrettably knows what it feels like to lose in a Paralympic bronze medal match.
Yeah. She made no mistake with that forehand there.
Break point saved. Yes, both Wang and Zhu lost in the bronze medal match as partners in Tokyo. Now they face each other. No, perfect placement. Another break point.
Advantage lead.
Well, that didn't last long, the advantage for Guo and Wang. Only one game, and they are broken back straight away. And maybe, Joe, Li and Zhu almost needed that to raise their intensity levels.
Yeah, sometimes you need a little something, and that was maybe the little something there that they needed. Really good forehands there from Li, really flat. Balls are coming in hard. So when the balls comes in flat and harder, you've got to shorten that backswing, and also it's harder with the grip that Guo is using, the semi-western, to hit that ball off the flat one. So she has been caught late a few times.
Sublime once more from GUO Luoyao.
She really likes that forehand down the line. That's her, definitely one of her better shots. She could really go anywhere, take the pace off and angle it, but that forehand down the line has become very much a weapon in this match.
Let first service.
It does just about catch the very outer edge of the line. And again, it's a similar sort of shot.
It is, that's that forehand down the line. However,
yes, they're not so sure. That was correctly in Zhu. So Ali Chitgar comes over to have a look.
59.
And so it was out.
Just a little bit. I feel the tides can turn at any point in time. It's so close in this second set.
That was astutely done by Li Xiaohui. The gap in between the two players was found, and they've transformed their fortunes in this second set. Li and Zhu, they trailed early on, a breakdown, but now they've won back-to-back games. It's 3-2.
Time.
The bronze medal match goes on and on, because we are close to the 2-hour mark. Well, wasn't that a treat of a shot from GUO? Great vision, great technique.
There's that forehand down the line again. I do think Zhu has changed her strategy a little bit. We're seeing more backhand slices, trying to keep it a little bit lower. She'll still throw out the ball on the forehand side, but her backhand, she's tending to throw in more slices.
Do you think in turn GUO is being a little more demonstrative in her attacking play?
She is, she's coming forwards more.
It's not a sea change, is it? But just subtle things here and there. Neither of these partnerships have played together for a great deal of time. GUO and Wang in their 6th competition together. Lee and Ju their 10th. Didn't quite get the length right.
Late call. Chair umpire does come out. Just getting so late. Calls it in. That's why he came out, I think, because he thought it was in. This is where we say with clay, you've got a mark, right? But the question becomes, where is the mark? So that's why when they say you can, oh, red clay doesn't, or clay doesn't need it, it's specifically where is the mark.
And we do frequently see a little disagreement, don't we, between umpire and players as to whether that's the right one.
Yeah.
It's actually got to be one of the most difficult features of being an umpire on clay, is just keeping sight of that while extricating yourself from the chair and getting across without losing it for a moment.
Yeah, and understanding where it just, sometimes they hit it, you take your eye off the mark, and then, oh, you've got to go back to it now. Where did it land?
That's impeccable. I mean, just unplayable in terms of the length and the height.
Yeah, huge. A lot of spin on that ball, a lot of rotations.
3 games on.
Very impressive, Guo and Wang. 3-all. They're quite different players, Guo and Wang, aren't they, in terms of the way they complement each other?
Yeah, Wang's looking to move forwards a little bit more, a little flatter. And that's what we said at the beginning. Like, you just see someone moving forward. What a serve. That was kind of out of nowhere.
Yes.
But you will see one person taking aggression a little bit more and the other one defense. And this one is, you're not seeing it coming forward so much with volleys, but you can definitely see who's the more aggressive player with flatter shots on both teams.
And just to say, that was the first ace of the match. Superb ball retrieval from Wang. Just brilliant.
Again, some really important points that she's been able to dig and get to that one extra ball. Didn't think she was going to get there. And then the little reach and great control at the end.
Because that's only half of it, isn't it, getting there? It's actually, as you say, being able to still control the ball. a well-taken chance. Heard the clattering sound there, didn't you, as Guo struck that?
30 all.
Sometimes happens when you can't get out of the way of the chair and you have to, you know, when you're playing in a wheelchair, you hit so many different shots that you wouldn't dream of when you're standing. You have to get, because you get jammed and you have to play it in front of your face, like it's almost like an overhead from in front of your face, and that's what we see sometimes.
Here it is, another break point chance. Get this one, and they are so close to the bronze.
Left for service.
And they have got it. Will we see an immediate riposte from Li and Zhu as we did last time? Or is the destination of the bronze medal starting to become clearer and clearer? GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying have broken to lead 4-3. They're nearly there. 2 games required.
Time. Merci, s'il vous plaît, merci.
The many spectators here in Roland Garros and on court Suzanne Longlon watching this intriguing bronze medal match in the women's wheelchair tennis doubles competition. The question is, can Guo and Wang hold on to this break of serve? They've already had one in this set and were immediately broken back.
Thank you, merci.
They have never beaten Li and Zhu. Well, that was really good defensive tennis from Guo and Wang, but steady hitting wore them down.
Yeah, and surprisingly, she got to hit 4 or 5 forehands in a row there. We haven't seen that. She's hit 1 or 2 max, and then it goes back to Zhu. You can feel it from Guo here, like she's just like, she knows how close it is.
Goodness, did she defend that with steel, Guo Luoyao.
30 all.
She's got a great mentality, hasn't she?
She does. It's so positive. All four players have been super positive.
It's a good serve.
But they can feel it. They feel how close this is. They've got it right here. Feel the excitement for her.
Oh, such a tense moment.
Really missing it by a little bit too. Such an important game.
We'll have one more chance at least.
Advantage 1.
There's palpable tension on every face on that court.
There is. Big forehand.
That was an absolutely horribly tense point, wasn't it?
It certainly was. I wonder where you were going with that there, but it was. It was obvious that no one wanted to make an unforced error there,
Yes.
so they're like, we're going to have good net clearance, we're going to have good height, we're not going to play close to the lines, and then I think finally Lee was like, I'm going to go for it, and she just misses it.
I don't know about you, but I barely remember to breathe during that rally. You could feel it in the crowd as well.
Maybe we need to breathe out when they're hitting too, like the grunts.
Well, this is now a hugely significant service game for Lee and Ju. And we are seeing separation in this second set in a way that we didn't so concretely in the first. And you just spare a thought here for Zhu Zhenzhen, who at 35 is close to experiencing a second consecutive loss in the doubles bronze medal match at the Paralympic Games.
There's the pressure. I think that you see Zhu's serve as well, breaking down the last couple times. We've seen her with her toss way off and her serve speed's gone down, and then the lack of first serve, but then also the pressure now on Li on that. Again, a very important point coming up with the unforced error.
We've gone a lot more quickly through this second set. 2¼ hours the match in total. 1 hour and 31 minutes was set number 1. Good retrieval. They've got there in the end, though. That reaction from GUO Luoyao.
Love 40.
It's so close now. She knows it. Wang knows it. Wang, who lost in the bronze medal match in Tokyo. Lost along with the player who is now serving to her.
Thank you, players are ready, thank you.
One more point, that's all.
Game, set a match. Go away.
Overjoyed.
Why 2 set to love? 7-6.
They have overcome
6-3.
their teammates. GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying. A great contest, a dramatic contest, a close contest. Victory for the youngest player in this group of 4 and her partner, who experienced the disappointment of loss 3 years ago in Tokyo. 7-6, 6-3. The bronze medal goes to GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying. And it was tight, and it's going to be tough for Li and Zhu to lose that.
Yeah, they were not happy at the net. That was not a warm reception at the net, which you feel for them, right? And you feel for these two here as you see them getting emotional, but what a match they played.
She's been a joy to watch, hasn't she, throughout these games?
She's like, you can take my racket now. I don't need the racket. I just want the flag. Looking for maybe family, friends, what to do next. They're like, where do we go? What do we do?
GUO Luoyao has no concept of this, because this is easily the biggest moment of her career, isn't it?
Yep.
GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying, the winners in the bronze medal match. And congratulations to Wang, who has come back 3 years after that loss in Tokyo to finish on the podium. And as we see, Joe, these scenes of celebration, you have to keep in the back of your mind and in your heart ZHU Zhenzhen at 35. She's lost 2 of those in a row now. And she is the player, Zhu, who has spoken of her desire to inspire growth in the sport, to see more great young players come through and take over from her. And it's just that it's happened in the cruelest of ways here. It's happened with her being directly beaten by that next generation like GUO.
Yeah, and that's something she's going to have to come to terms with and understand that she has created this environment for these players to come up and take over from them.
2 hours and 19 minutes, the bronze medal won by GUO Luoyao and WANG Ziying of the People's Republic of China against their own teammates Li Xiaohui and ZHU